Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
All right, guys, welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We're live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Adjacent Studios. Go to samtripoli.gold, get into the precious metals game, use a promo code Tinfoil, and get into the precious metals game for as little as $50 a month. Precious metals sent right to your house. All right, today's going to be a wild one. We've had him on before, and he talked about how a giant comet or meteor was coming, and then we had a guy, John Cullen, come after and say that you were right. So let's get into it, please. Welcome to the show, Shepard Ambellas. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. But I mean, things are breaking loose pretty quick if you think about it. Almost like society's totally been broken down in the last couple of days in Los Angeles, and now the No Kings event coming up, obviously.
June
in
14th.
A lot of these, a lot of the major cities starting to see some action already. Dallas, New York, places in Florida, Chicago. I mean, oh gosh, I bet Chicago is just gonna like pop off. But obviously, like paid actors. I've been working on this for a while. I just want to show my book real quick, just not like a useless plug, but just so we can kind of set premise for this. I've made a film on it called Shackled to Silence, and a book now. And this unrest that we're experiencing now, believe it or not, all ties into Planet X and natural disasters that we are going to start having and experiencing. And governments worldwide have gone into essentially continuity of government over this. And they have plans like the tariffs are a worldwide plan for them to all run this, and that there's going to be empty shelves and stuff because they have certain plans to bring us to our knees a certain way in every country as these natural disasters start playing out, because as this massive celestial perturber comes in to our system, it starts affecting the magnetics of our system, and it starts tugging on our planet. And a lot of this goes back in ancient texts and scriptures across the globe, back 6,000 and 8,000 years. And whether you're a flat earther or a globe-tard, either way, we could be in a snow globe with a flat earth stationary, but space could be real, but we have a firmament. So just think of it like that. Planet X is out in our system. There's a lot of articles starting to surface where they're admitting like, hey, the Earth's core has stopped spinning. They're saying the Earth's magnetosphere is weakening, especially over Brazil. There's the South Atlantic anomaly. And then they say the magnetosphere is weakening over North America. Coincidentally, two of the places that Walmart dumped 268 stores. Walmart dumped like 70 something stores in Brazil, the other 200 in the US. Then Soros got out of his banking investments in the US and in Brazil, which is interesting because there's contracts, there's military continuity, there's military contingency plans. Like one is known as Rex 84 that goes back to 1984 during the Ronald Reagan era, and Oliver North was involved in setting this contingency plan up. And the contingency plan Rex 84, Readiness Exercise 1984.
Yep, I've heard of it.
Okay, so the Miami Herald came out and did a piece on this back in the day when they somehow found out about it. And They went and questioned Senator Inhofe in Congress and others, and they wanted to know what was this secret plan that in case of natural disasters, that there would be essentially FEMA camps, detention camps for the American people in case of natural disasters or civil unrest. And they go, well, we can't talk about that. We got to go into a secret session. They just kept essentially denying him any information. People can even pull that clip up. Like, I don't know if you guys.
Hold on, before we get into all of that, Shepard, for those who may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where they can find you? Now, the first time I met you, Shepard, we met at the House of Comedy.
Oh yeah.
In Phoenix.
That was dope. Yeah.
And
that was the first comedy show I saw live.
We went there and you told me that the CIA tried to kill you. And I'm like, why are you talking to me right now? I don't want to die.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm the original founder of the Intel Hub back in like 2010. I broke a big story in 2009 on the Alex Jones show called Military Industrial Complex Prepares Mass Graves for U.S. Citizens. And I broke this story in which the government surveyed all the cemeteries in the United States, and they also surveyed military cemeteries, and then they decided to start going into military cemeteries and digging down about 15 feet, putting in some ABC rock in there for drainage and all. And then they put in these concrete burial vaults side by side that they say hold 4 caskets per vault, but they also hold about 40 bodies if you just throw them in there. And then they just cover a light surface of dirt over the top, put some grass if they need to. And they did all this under the cover of darkness. And I went in and filmed the operation in Phoenix, and I put it out, and it was a big thing. And I went on the Alex Jones show, and then that went along with them FEMA coffins. And then Alex Jones was like, damn, you got a knack for this. And I was an electrical contractor at the time and stuff. And I thought, well, it's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll like check into some of this. So I started pulling up these pandemic preparedness plans. And then I remembered how Bush did the pandemic scale, kind of like a martial law pandemic scale, where he said there was a novel flu virus. And he said, look, even for a novel flu virus, we need a pandemic scale 1 through 6. So they kind of got like this pandemic level martial law. And I'm like, that's weird. It almost sounds like they're preparing for like a New World Order death kill, right? And so I got into these. Each state has its own pandemic preparedness plan, and they're called like pandemic and mass fatality preparedness plans. That's essentially some of the verbiage that you would find for your state if you went to look it up. And in these plans, it says like in the event of a natural disaster where like you got all these bodies laying around and whatnot, it tells you how to get rid of them and stuff, because there's problems that go along with that. And how does the government prepare for this? And they actually have like body teams that come out, and they broke this down, and the state has all this shit, and they had to form all these divisions. And like, so it gets real technical. And in it, I started reading, and it's like, well, you can't incinerate bodies. And I go, wow, that's interesting, because I found them mass graves, and it's like you can't incinerate bodies because it's too hard. It's too hot to burn bodies. It takes way too long, and you can release toxins back into the air, especially during biocontamination. So,
damn.
Yeah, so like they actually figured out they had to have mass graves. I'm like, damn, that ties in, and I tied that in. And I've been researching Planet X ever since I was like 14 and stuff. And I really think there was something to it. So in the back of my mind, I don't know if I really put the pieces together yet, but ultimately then I ended up starting the Intel Hub and then they shut me down after I went to Bilderberg 2012 with Alex Jones, and thousands of people showed up, and we brought the Bilderberg out into the light. We were there with everyone because, like, before they said Bilderberg was a conspiracy, there was just that one guy that would go around Tucker, uh, and but like the mainstream would admit that it's not real. So we finally called, and all the press. I did like 30 mainstream interviews, made Drudge Report. We proved Bilderberg was real. They were there in Chantilly, Virginia, and it was an interesting time. And I had IntelliHub then, or the Intel Hub. And then a major corporation came with a similar name and shut me down. They just like attacked me right after that. And then so I had to fire up another website called IntelliHub.com. And so I did that, and it ended up going back up in the upper 1% traffic tier in the first month, because IntelliHub and in the Intel Hub were both in the upper 1% traffic tier, but the upper 1% of the first 1% traffic tier. I think it was IntelliHub was ranked something like 23,000 world, 13,000 US at the time, out of like 2 billion websites, right? So there was a lot of people like going there for this news, and reading it. And so, ultimately I had like over 12,000 articles on there and writers and stuff. I've personally have authored over 6,000 articles, and done show. I've been on all shows like Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, in studio with Alex Jones, just like everything, just like and but then they actually started shadow banning me back in 2013. I actually think I was one of the world's first shadow banned people. So I had all these huge, I would go on all the biggest shows in the world. I'm on the Travel Channel. I'm on America Declassified. I'm on, I'm doing all this shit, and I'm just getting like shadow banned.
Yeah, I've been there, dude. I would do like all these giant shows and get like 100 new subscribers, and then they would slowly whittle that down. I think every time I get on Rogan, I get 1,000 new subscribers or followers, and then they start to whittle.
Yeah.
Not this videos come out, I've gotten like 5,000 followers. Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, maybe 5,000 followers. I was at 100,400 104,000.2 followers, and then it just sat there forever. And now I'm up to, yeah, I'm almost up 5,000. So, but they'll whittle that back down.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny can tell you on our YouTube channel, we've been at 150 to like 45 to 150 for years.
Yeah,
It's
that's how
impossible to
mine is.
grow.
It's like
Yeah.
everything stays flat, even though it's moving, it's staying flat. And yeah, it's crazy. And I know you're definitely getting tons of information out, and you're definitely fully shadow banned in this category. And so I battled all that, and then they really started like targeting me and all this stuff, and it got like real crazy. And I started, I was the first one to interview the Bundys on the Malheur wildlife standoff, when they were posted up in that federal building in Oregon. And I was doing articles daily, and it's like when you're talking to all these people, because you're a journalist, and these people are like posted up in federal buildings and shit. I mean, like, basically you start getting followed by black SUVs at that point. So, when I was living in Austin, that kind of stuff was going on, and it got pretty weird. And then COVID started, and I shut down my electric company, and I started doing media full time again. And then that's when I was kind of a while into it. I did a show with you, and I was like, there's asteroids coming, there's this. And there was John Cullen, I guess, told you guys, but there was a convergence. I was right. I was seeing military movement. And that's where we're okay. So in my book, and
Hidden axis, the forces behind the invisible world.
Yeah, beyond the visible world, hidden axis, forces beyond the visible world. 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon Books, and find it anywhere books are sold. You guys really need to get it. It's so crazy and so key and it's so spot on. But basically, COVID what I found out, and I came out right away and said, look, these lockdowns are going to last literally like years. This is all. But then I got deep into it, right? And what I ultimately found out is COVID was a blanket cover militarized operation for governments worldwide that are basically all tied together through United Nations and like some of the top governments, right? So they know that Planet X is coming. And it's not me naming this Planet X, like our government named it Planet X. Back in the late 70s, and then into 79, they reconfirmed, but in the mid 70s, Pioneer space probes discovered Planet X, and they came out in Popular Science and they did an article and they said, look, we found this massive perturber moving in. We knew it was out there because it was perturbing Pluto. And now we have some stuff confirming that. And then they actually came out with this article like around 82 or 83 and in Popular Science because the IRAS satellite, which is an infrared telescope, is what they really needed to ultra confirm it. Because what Planet X essentially is most every solar system has either 2 or 3 suns. And we think of our solar system as having 1 sun. But we actually, our solar, and you guys can look this up, that sounds crazy, right? Like solar system have 2 or 3
Well,
suns.
you've been hearing a lot about people seeing 2 suns in the sky.
So
and they're filming it. They'll be like, and Johnny, what's your thoughts on that? Will you see like, okay, this is the sun, then what is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of some of the videos I've seen that were saying that are clearly like lens effects and stuff.
Right.
I don't want
to. Okay, so you're right, but most recently, several have surfaced that I have to say, like, I'm almost believing it. Now, the reason is because I've monitored all of our weather up until now. I have films on this, and people can go back and watch my films and see me saying all this stuff and see experts talking about all this stuff. But ultimately, let's go back. Okay, well, let me go to COVID first. Try to remind me of what we were just kind of talking about if I get off track. But COVID is what I found out is a militarized blanket cover operation because of Planet X. And Rex 84 program, we were talking about that earlier, Readiness Exercise 84, is concentration camps for the American people in the event of natural disasters. And so how does it tie in? They know big events are coming and you're going to have 300 million armed Americans going around going apeshit. So you got to mitigate this ahead of time. How did they mitigate this ahead of time? They did a death kill with COVID. First of all, what they did with COVID is, in my opinion, they might have killed nearly 100 million Americans. If you look at
Have you heard, we've talked about this on the show, maybe it was Broken Sim, but there's a woman out there that thinks 400 million Chinese died.
No. Let me tell you, this is fact. I promise you. Now, let me tell you, out of 1.4 billion Chinese, there's only 300 million left. I spent weeks going through this, analyzing it, and I'm positive of that number. That's why we're not even getting shit shipped over here. But it all ties into, okay, we'll go into tariffs and everything. COVID was a militarized blanket operation worldwide for governments to prepare for this and get dust masks on every corner for volcanoes blowing off, ramping up production on shit like that, building up government stockpiles, testing the underground bases. They had field hospitals out because asteroids were really converging, and they had trauma surgeons out, not COVID people. Okay, so they were expecting like problems. They had military ships, they had boats and tsunami protocols like they do right now with the tariffs, where they're all out floating and they're not near the ports because we're in a danger period. We got the Axis Seamount volcano, a mile-wide volcano that's getting ready to blow. Admittedly, this year it's supposed to blow up off the coast of Oregon. We got the Cascadia Subduction Zone, seeing tens of thousands of tremors all of a sudden. Things are like heating up. So if we go back to Al Gore back in the day in the late 80s saying, hey, global warming, it's going to start happening. We're going to see this. We're going to see that. Then the elites came out, and it started looking like a plan. Okay, what I'm about to tell you guys is gonna blow your mind. Okay, like this is gonna be kind of weird for some people.
You're on tinfoil hat. It starts
Okay,
at weird.
yeah, all right. So you guys will get it right away. So as to where they would, people like Alex Jones, let's take for instance, would like you to, if we think of like what even me as a truther back in the day, until I know what I know now, would always think there's going to be a new world order takeover, and we're kind of coming up on the great reset, right? And they're going to take over, and all this shit's going to happen, and we see all this stuff lining up, and it's all Orwellian, right? It's all just a total new world order takeover, death, kill. Like now they got COVID, right? What if I told you that all of that, including inflation, which goes back to the day that currency started, is the day it starts ticking? What if I told you that all of that is a byproduct of they know Planet X is coming? And so they're going to ride everything out to the end. They're going to have their plans to seize on everything, then shut their systems down at the right time, go into their bases at the right time, but now mitigate the population at the right time, do all their shit. That all is that whole new world order takeover. And yeah, they're moving to it. And then they're going to, when the disasters happen, they'll pop up with just AI and only so many essential humans, essential workers.
Yeah.
So COVID was this thing to get all militaries ready, and people were in, when Trump did the 50 governors and the Stafford Act, that was the day that they initiated continuity of government and gave FEMA power over the president. And I'm going to tell you guys some weird shit. So Donald Trump has been president ever since. Biden was never president. That's why he never was on Air Force One. We saw him on those fake planes. That's why they got 50 lookalikes of him. That's why they're probably running a robot Biden. We've all seen all the clips. We've all seen that fake whole Biden era just look like a show. Okay. Now, the reason it looked like a show is because we were in continuity of government. And because it was activated by protocols, not by Donald Trump, when he had to activate the Stafford Act and shit because the generals came to him and told him. But is what I'm saying is everything, these asteroid, once the government knew that there's an X% chance that an asteroid's going to hit, they had to go in continuity government. Newsweek confirmed all this. Newsweek confirmed what I'm saying. They came out after I said there's going to be asteroids, they're moving these military equipment. Newsweek confirmed all this. And they said there's all these contingency plans. They're securing DC. General O'Shaughnessy's bunkering down. This is literally all confirmed, and what I'm saying is real. The only thing they're not telling the American people is Biden was not even president, and that was a fake Biden. And the reason is because they couldn't at the time tell people like, well, Trump's going to just stay in there and be a dictator. That would have started like a civil war. They also couldn't even they can't tell people this continuity of government plan because these disasters are coming. So that's just out of the question. So they played it like that. Another reason we know that that's true is because they built Trump a control command center in Mar-a-Lago. They've never done that for any president. Like it's a whole thing. But he's not making decisions on that level. They might have him doing things and stuff, but even these tariffs are not his decision. They're a continuity of government plan. The tariffs are effectively the worst thing you could ever do and are opposite of what Trump says they would do. It's actually driven every business out of America. Apple went to India. Everyone's going to get out of America. No one's going to afford to do production here. And furthermore, there's no people in China and the shit's not happening and there's going to be empty shelves.
Dude, that is the craziest stat, dude.
Isn't it weird?
That's like, you say 300 million. I've seen people say 500 million.
It's 300, I fucking promise you. And it's very easily to analyze using critical thinking because at the end of the day, I analyze everything because I'm a trends analyst, and that's how I actually called. We were going into civil unrest this particular week, and I called that, and you guys can even play a clip of that if you have that capability. But I called that.
Where will we find it?
I sent a link in on our email chain, and it's in a video I did on my live feed, and it's in the first 3 minutes of that video. If we played the first 3 minutes, and it's pretty interesting because but anyways, I was calling this stuff months out, and I got all these shows on it proving it. But like how it all is the tariffs are it's like COVID. Remember how I was explaining COVID's a continuity of government plan worldwide, okay? So the tariffs are the same thing. Imagine the tariffs are the new COVID, okay? Now, why do they do this? They got to bring people to their knees quick. They got to get they already suspended Posse Comitatus. They already activated Rex 84. I already confirmed this. They're not going to confirm it out loud because it's secret, but that's why they sent them troops to the border and activated that 60-foot zone on the border and claimed it as a military camp. Trump did executive order on January 1st, giving the police total powers to where they can shoot and blow away American citizens and not be held accountable, where they're going to supply all police in the next 90 days after that order with all military gear, and where the military can start working with police on the streets against Posse Comitatus. It's already been done. Now they're going for the Insurrection Act. You know that, right? They're ramping up to get you. What they're going to do is they're going to say these riders are insurrectionists.
Trump has already said it. Yeah, Trump has already said the words. Yeah.
So come, mark my words, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, they might invoke this because of these No Kings riots, okay? So once they invoke Insurrection Act, it doesn't suspend habeas corpus yet, but through that, they will be right after that suspending habeas corpus. Once they suspend habeas corpus, there's no trial, no jury, no nothing. They already made it to where you're a terrorist if you scratch a Tesla and you get 20 years in prison. They're now saying that if you loot a store, you get 20 years in prison. There's going to be no judge, no trial, no jury. They're doing mass arrests. They're just going to go snatch and grab Americans. It's not, they flipped it on MAGA. MAGA thinks they're all cool and they're out there and they got to get Mexicans off the street and all the shit. It's not about that.
But wait up. Like what you said, we were going to get Mexicans off the streets. It's all citizens. I guarantee you any illegal is not at the protest right now.
That's what I'm saying. They've duped MAGA up because look, they're trying to get MAGA to think this is about illegal aliens and everything. Even the ICE protests, they're trying to make, okay, really is what's going on is people are starting to get mad because people are getting snatched and grabbed. It's against the Constitution. You can't do it. Plus, illegals even have right to travel in the country, and they have to go to court. They want to suspend habeas corpus, but look, it's not even about the illegals. They paid those illegals to come in, gave them $10,000 credit cards, and they put them in luxury hotels just for this Planet X Rex 84 program. I shit you not, so that they could get their invasion that never existed before, so that they can do all this shit that's coming up this weekend, so that they can ultimately suspend habeas corpus. And once that's done, it's fucking Nazi Germany and they're coming after all of us. And guess what? There's going to be empty food on the shelves here in just 2 to 4 weeks, and there's no reinforcements coming. And once there's curfew and you go outside and you need some food and you're hungry and you got to go forage for food and you broke curfew, they're already saying it in LA, you are arrested. Guess what? By then, no judge, no trial, no jury. And guess what? They got secret prisons in El Salvador now. They're activating Alcatraz, and they legalized in 24 states that you can juice up American citizens and blend them and flush them down the drain. And you think they're not going to do it? Why?
I want to tell you about our good friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. That's right. We thank them for sponsoring the show. Listen, if you're paying attention, you know de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver have been money throughout all recorded history and are excellent ways to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all things precious metals, for sure. Veteran owned and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small. You can even roll your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, well, think again. With the Wise Wolf Pack monthly membership, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. I'm in the Wolfpack. I do it. Okay. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals and accepts in Bitcoin. So this is what we need you to do. Just go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout, and receive a free constitutional silver. And remember, in a world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friend Christian Yardarnoff and his livelongerformula.com. Listen, we're very thankful to be working with him. Every time he comes on the show, he blows it up, man. He crushes it. And I just really want to ask you guys, if you're struggling with health challenges that you are unable to resolve, like digestive problems, low energy, can't sleep, brain fog, or hormone issues like low sex drive, anxiety, and weight gain, yes, and yes. Okay, go to livelongerformula.com and book a free health assessment with my friend Christian Yardarnoff. Okay, Christian is a longevity author and functional health practitioner, and he will help you get your gut working smoothly, detox yourself, boost your testosterone, sleep like a baby, and function at your best, because you deserve to be your best at all times, thrive, and not just survive, okay? Go to livelongerformula.com/Sam, where you can watch his latest free master class on the 7 deadly health fads that shorten your life. And after watching the master class, if his approach resonates with you, you can book a free metabolic function assessment with Christian so he can help you identify the root causes of your problems, okay? Make sure to mention my name, Sam, when you're booking your session, and you'll get a free gift if you decide to work with him to optimize your health and longevity. Go to livelongerformula.com/Sam and take control of your health now. And we thank Christian for sponsoring this show.
What? Dude, you have Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, who doesn't know what habeas corpus is.
Right.
She doesn't know what the most foundational principle of justice in this country.
Which is probably a bullshit lie, and what they're just walking the people into it because they don't want them to start figuring this shit out.
Well, I was thinking it's possible that they don't, because they know MAGA is at this kind of crossroads where they're kind of defending. They have to choose whether they're going to defend everything this administration does.
But it's like this is Hitler. This is they got everyone to love Hitler. They got MAGA to go along. But let me reiterate something. Let me make this clear. Let's everyone go back to something like this. Let's scratch left and right. Let's scratch fucking crazy leftists that go and freak out. Let's scratch the MAGA. What you got is there's just a constitution. We got, like, let's not play the left and right game here, and let's just think about this. This is like some Hitler shit, dude. They got them. But here's what I wanted to say. It's continuity of government. So it's not Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump obviously probably doesn't want to do all this shit. I'm telling you. Like, and it's not even his plan, but they're kind of making it look like it is. Okay. But I'm telling you, this is literally the continuity of government plan activated because Planet X is coming in. All of these readings, everything. We notice the weird weather. Y'all see storms going crazy. I mean, shit is getting weird. You wouldn't know this unless you know this, and you might know this because you guys do tinfoil hat. But basically, the whole world's been flooded over the last year. Did you guys know, like, China, like all the major cities were like 10 feet deep in water and shit?
Oh my God.
Did you know Africa's splitting in half into 2 pieces and there's an ocean forming under it?
No.
You can Google this
I didn't
shit.
know.
You can Google it. It's all mainstream. The Earth's core stopped spinning. If you see the movie The Core, the scientists, they called them in the continuity of government to talk to the top generals, and they said the core stopped spinning. And they said, scientists, tell us what the deal is. And he's like, well, you got a year. Guess how long ago the core stopped spinning? About a year. All of this shit's matching up. 2012 was a ruse to trick people that Planet X was gonna come and never came type shit, a doomsday thing that never happened because they're pulling us into it now. Now the plan is mitigation. They can't have morons and idiots running around. They've already probably killed 100 million Americans with vaccines. They got us 6 foot separated. They're tracking all of us separately, especially the vaccinated ones. And it's a martial law control grid. Skynet's active. They got artificial general intelligence. It's the military's basically already got Skynet. They're sending out big dogs. They made it in the big beautiful bill to where you can't even make laws against AI for 10 years, which means robots now can fucking kill you. And they can go around and commit murder and they can do anything they want, corporate espionage. But we forgot about all this. Once they block off every freeway entrance, they're going to have 5,000 troops. They're going to deputize all police to shoot to kill. They're going to have 5,000 troops in every major city, and even smaller cities will have lots of troops. And they're going to have battle-hardened Marines in every city in the next week. And when they do, all this shit is over, and it's all for this planet. And there's no food coming, guys, and it's going to get fucking weird. And I forget now. I lost my train of thought.
Well, that's fine because there's a lot to break down, dude. It's very interesting that Walmart is sponsoring these
right,
these no kings when all these Walmarts have been turned into what
you
people
guys
basically
get them. Ultimately, the slaves would be walking the Walmart for their last morsels. But we didn't even get into the tariff part. Think of the tariffs as the new COVID. If this is part of the continuity government plan, it's not a Trump plan. Okay, what the tariffs did was effectively put an embargo with 180 countries against the US. Why? Because, first of all, who pays the tariffs? The importer. Walmart, they pay the tariffs. So they're not going to eat that because they only make a small profit anyways, or X amount of profit. They're definitely rolling that to the consumer. So in no way by Trump saying those tariffs are going to hurt China, are they going to hurt China? They're only going to hurt the American. But not only that, they're acting like the tariffs are just with China. They're with 180 countries. There's no supplies coming from anywhere because no one's going to, guys, $300 shopping carts in 4 weeks from now. That's what's coming. And then no food after that.
I mean, gas is going up in California on some thing they just passed, so I don't know how that's going to help out.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I have been stocking up on those doomsday food kits for a long time. I got 2 of them, 2 big ones.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck, we're in trouble.
I'm in Mexico, so I'm set up in a place that is good. One reason it's good is because no one has guns here. So they're not all going to kill each other. You know what I'm saying? And although it sounds nice, like if you're a MAGA guy or like a patriot, and I always like guns and like to have them and all that stuff, but now it kind of sounds nice to be in a country with no guns. So, that's one good thing about Mexico.
Well, how does that work when the government comes for what you have, though?
Well, they won't, because Mexico, believe it or not, is one of the greatest nations in the world. And this is crazy. They've really lied to us about Mexico. Mexico has like an 80% employment rate. Is
that because all the unemployed people ended up in San Diego?
It's so bizarre. Have you guys ever seen the movie Jericho, the TV series Jericho?
I have. I've heard a lot about it.
Okay. Well, essentially, it's weird. It's kind of like this whole community that functions and works and everyone's happy. Believe it or not, there's zero crime where I am. And I know that's hard to believe. There's literally zero crime. There is cartels here. And, like I buy weed from them. I'm friends with them. And they actually protect the people. They would never harm a person around here unless you fuck them over. And, There's really not that much corruption. A cop might ask you for a couple bucks here and there if they pull you over, but then hey, you don't got to go to court and get tied up and pay $700 in tickets and ruin your day. You just hand them a couple bucks, so that's great.
I've heard that logic. Where at least in Mexico, if it's corrupt, we're all part of the corruption. Unless when here in the United States, unless you got big money, it's the only way to be part of the corruption.
Yep, and you know
That was Andrew Tate's take on where was he? Yugoslavia? Where was Andrew Tate? He was there for a long time. Romania.
Romania, yeah.
He's like, you know, they're corrupt, but they let you buy into the corruption.
Yep, but all in all, everyone in Mexico's happy. You couldn't get them to steal from you. I shit you not. I guess they do that because if they steal from like the cartel, they'll get handled. So basically, you don't know who's cartel, so they ain't stealing from anyone. But actually, I think they're just good people. So it kind of all functions like this cool society that would work. And you know, they're not that independent like on things from China and the US. So everything kind of stays within. And so since they don't have guns, it's one of these countries that we saw in the Deagle report that wasn't going to be that affected by population. But the US, do you guys remember the Deagle report? By the way, that was in 2025, and they predicted all the population decline and everything. And now we're here. So, you know, it's fascinating.
Why aren't they owning that? Why is it only alternative media and certain people in place like Elon, for instance, who are telling us about the truth about depopulation?
Well, really, I'm going to tell you guys something that might blow your mind. That might even almost piss some truthers off in a weird way. But this is what I've ultimately figured out. A lot of this depopulation is mitigation for this planet coming. And they basically imagine we all got together in a board right now. And I know we don't think we're gods and we wouldn't want to control anyone's lives, but say we're in control of the government. We said, well, planet 400 times the size of Jupiter's coming. It's going to tilt our pole 40 degrees and cause sloshing, and every volcano on the planet's going to blow off, and you know, shit's going to start happening and breaking loose, and they're going to have category 8 hurricanes, 400-mile-an-hour straight line winds, flooding, biblical shit. The Anunnaki might even come back. What do we do? Well, one of the first things they're going to say is, well, we got to preserve our water supplies and stuff like that because water is the most important resource, and we can't have millions of dead bodies polluting that water. Well, what do? Well, we'll start in China. We got to start pureeing them ahead of time and flushing them down the drain. So, you know, ultimately, that's where that all stems from. Now, the banker takeover and everything, that's because the bankers are tied into the Vatican and also the people in the government that know this information about this planet that I'm talking about. And so that's why the 2,000 CEOs quit. And that's why we see all these companies making all these weird moves all of a sudden. And all the top tech people building underground bunkers and shit, they literally know what's coming. And Doge wasn't in there to find any problems or anything. Where are these problems? Where are the arrests? Doge was in there to actually close down the accounting of the government, go through and do an audit of the Fort Knox, the Federal Reserve, all this stuff. And they're slowly closing down the accounting. And that's the phase we're going to come into now, because they're going to say we have no food on the shelves. The ships weren't coming. We told you there was tariffs. They still haven't enacted the tariff charge yet. Once they get everyone in martial law here in the next week, then think they're going to say one day, because it's like in July that hits, they're going to say the tariffs are active. Then when you go to the store, you're going to have to show your ID. It's all martial law out, like Nazi Germany. Show me your papers, real ID. You got to have real ID now to fly state to state. You're a slave in America already. I mean, I got more freedom in Mexico. I'm fully free in Mexico. I'm actually a total free. It's almost like I'm a what do you call those? Sovereign citizen.
You sound like Jesse Ventura. He said many of the same things about Mexico.
Dude, it's like the ultimate. They lied to everyone. Like Mexico's the shit, you know? But I'm telling you, this shit's coming down to it. And we're starting to
why won't Mexico be infected?
It will by the disasters, okay? Okay, that's for sure. It will be by the disasters. Now, why I personally think and almost know it won't, and I've beta tested and checked into this ever since I've been here for the last couple of years, but also things like the Deagle report saying certain things. So why? Let me tell you why. Because they don't have guns here. So as part of that continuity of government mitigation plan, they don't need to apply as much emphasis and pressure to a place that has 80% employment, gets all their shit within the country in all functions and works together. And if there was a disaster, all the people will help each other. So there's really nothing to mitigate. When you've got, think of Americans now, and they all got guns and all this shit. And look at LA already. And now imagine mitigating that shit.
Dude, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So let's get into this a little bit more. This brown dwarf star. Tell us a little bit more about.
So every solar system primarily that we know of has 2 or 3 suns. Our solar system apparently has at least 2 suns. Some people say 3, and there's one further away or something. But
how come we don't see them?
Because one is a brown dwarf star, which essentially is a failed star or a burnt out star. So essentially, it almost absorbs light, almost like a black hole, and it's highly undetectable and highly not. It's like having Vanta black paint on, and that's why they had to have that space-based infrared IRAS telescope to confirm this. And so, that's why you basically don't start seeing it until it's on top of us, according to the legend and stuff. And that might be why these newer videos of Nibiru that we're seeing, honestly, to me, bro, look real, a couple of them. And I'm like, wow, that is weird. Because Mr. MB333 also filmed something weird out in front of the moon one time. They had like an object. I mean, there's some weird shit going on. What about those orbs? What about Oumuamua being called Scout? And that was like, it was this asteroid that was
John, you know what he's talking
itself.
about?
Yeah, it's just uniquely shaped. Yeah, go ahead. You can tell it, but yeah.
Well, basically, it's like a spaceship or submarine shaped asteroid, which is bizarre, right? And it came from interstellar space or whatever, basically, like, in my opinion, like the Anunnaki
there
sent
it is. Yeah, it's like a
and
cigar.
it's a probe. It's even named Scout, Oumuamua, and it was discovered by the Hawaiian Observatory, but it started controlling itself, and they knew it. Everyone knows it's intelligently controlled, all the scientists, but they came out with a cover story and said, oh, it was just off-gassing and going like a balloon when you let it go.
That's fascinating. Yeah, and its interstellar nature is unique too, right?
Yeah, and that also came ahead of time. And then we saw they said drones, and they kept using the word drone all of a sudden. But yet people were seeing orbs, and police departments were saying, we got our cameras pointing at this shit and can't even see it with heat cameras, with FLIR. And I don't know any technology on Earth to where you could have a running object in front of you and not see any heat. So, and then there was the orbs, but of course, then they probably had military drones trying to figure out what these orbs are. But so if you get in the Planet X, obviously it's a whole system, and the planets revolve around that brown dwarf star, just like our planets revolve around the sun. But it's in this highly elliptical orbit. If all of our planets are orbiting on this plane like this thing rips through our plane like this and causes a lot of disturbance. But now me and my team think that it ripped through this plane already and made its first perihelion with Earth 1,000 years ago. And we think that it's coming back down, and it's making its second perihelion with Earth because it's in the end of that elliptical. And we think this is why the Vatican and all them, and we think that the Bible and everything correlates with this. And this will ultimately, like, this dude James came on the show and started helping put pieces together, but it ties into the city of New Jerusalem and New Earth. and how they know when God's going to return, which essentially, I guess you could say, would be an Anunnaki, because all this ties the biblical story to Sumerian, to cultures across the world, civilizations. Everything's basically has the same biblical flood story and everything. And the way they talk about this, and these Greek gods, and none of that was mythical. Those were all real. And you're not gonna go around, and I told my 8th grade teacher this. She was teaching us all the mythical shit in all the gods and all that. And I go, you don't get it, dude. And she's like, what? And I go, this is all real. And she goes, why would you think that? And I go, because no one would make a fairy tale and embed it into history and just make people keep telling a fairy tale. This is what you pass down because it's real. And so then you get into the Bible and reading the Bible just word for word and not getting into any parable. So if you read it word for word and you think of it where like the scribe didn't have words for like UFOs and stuff. So it said like Moses was taken to the top of Mount Sinai by way of eagle wing. Well, did an eagle wing just flap and take them? Now, if you go to church, $10, say they'll come up with a parable and start talking about like an eagle wings and who knows what. But no, that scribe just didn't know there was technology involved. So if you kind of like pull the Bible open and read it word for word, it tells you all this shit. All that correlates to what's called Operation Planet X, which is the first incursion into Iraq during the Gulf War. People can look it up, Operation Planet X. And they went into a village in Al Dawar and they went after Stargate technology, but they also went to the Baghdad Museum and they went after Sumerian cylinder seals and cuneiform. And then they now have had AI translate all that, and they know exactly when this planet's arriving like they always did. And they were literally pretty spot on before, because FEMA was literally formed. You know how they say FEMA's a disaster and it's never really helped in disasters and all this shit. That FEMA was actually formed, and it's like the secret board of that ties into the continuity of government apparatus for this Planet X mitigation operation as this accelerates. So what I don't know when the actual passing of Planet X will be. My feelers are telling me like the midpoint of it might be like 2028 or 2029. So we could still have a while to ramp into it. But how they're acting, and with this military parade and the metal track tanks, and they're getting us in and they're going to bring us to our knees quick, it starting to make me think it could be in the next, even sooner, like 18 months. And as we see the planet start to shift slowly, eventually through the Adam and Eve story, which the CIA made classified and then eventually declassified parts of it, where they went in and took core samples 6 miles down in Russia and found out they know everything about the last pole shift, and they know that it happened in a quick like 24-hour period, and they know it's coming again because they know this planet causes it, and they know the Earth doesn't just shift on its own. Only massive celestial perturbers can cause that. So they know when all this is happening, and they know that it's going to shift, and then they know that's what caused the mud floods of Tartaria.
Oh shit.
Hey guys, it's summer and you gotta look good, and there's no better clothing company than True Classic. Whether you're going to weddings, high school reunion, kids' parties, you just never know what you're gonna need to wear. Well, guess what? True Classic has you covered. They got gear that's good for everything, okay? Their clothes are good for any occasion, whether you're going to a board meeting or a 5-year-old swimming party. It doesn't matter. You're going to look good. And let's say you're at a party and somebody pops off and you got to kick them hard in the head. No better gear for high kicks in the head than our good friends at True Classic. They're the best company out there. And here's what I want to do for you guys, because you guys are good people, okay? True Classic goes beyond the mission, beyond the fit and fabric. It's about helping guys show up with confidence and purpose. Their gear fits right, feels amazing, and is priced so guys everywhere can step into confidence without stepping out of their budget. Come on! Forget overpriced designer brands. Ditch the disposable fast fashion. True classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to give back. So this is what I need you guys to do. You can grab them at Target, Costco, or head to trueclassic.com/tinfoil to get hooked up today. That's trueclassic.com/tinfoil and get ready to kick some ass.
Okay, Tartaria, all the Tartarian structures were the golden age in the Bible, and now we're in Satan's season. This is what a good listener, James, brought up. And one of my good
we've had
people on
some
my
shows
team.
on it that's not totally lining up on that. I'm kind of with you. I think it could get darker, but we just had Ed Mabry, and he basically broke down if we were in the little season, like all the mountains would be destroyed. There's all this crazy stuff that
They
comes on.
they will be probably right here. They will. That's coming right now. Like look, they expect the Axis Seamount volcano to blow up.
You said this is like about 18 months? Could
Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to call dates either, but I mean, my feelers are telling me it could be the midpoint of, like, okay, we could start seeing severe weather and shit ramp up extreme like that, or in my opinion, it could take a lot longer. Like, for instance, that could be 2029 or 2020 or 2030 era, but we're still going to see ramp up until then. But look, the way they're acting with this economy and how shit seems like all fast food shut down. Like, dude, like they're going to have no food on the shelves. We're going into it. They're going to they'll let that play out. They'll let civil war happen. Seems like we're going into it a little faster, in my opinion. So that's what I got. I'm not going to call dates. There's no way to call anything like that. I can only see the Earth's core stop spinning. I can see an exponential. There's what's called the exponential ramping up of the pole shift. Did you guys know about that?
No.
So.
Yeah, I guess we did. We've had shows on
like the magnetic pole shifting, and it's starting to go super
Nephilim Death Squad.
So ultimately through, as this goes, that pole's going to shift even more and more and more quicker, right? So ultimately it's going to do in a 24-hour period a biblical fucking thing, and we're going to have some serious shit going on. But the mountains rumbling and all that shit might be happening. We'll see. I mean, I'm monitoring lots of stuff, and this really does seem like it's all tying in, and it's kind of bizarre. And I have films and a book on it. And if you think about it, I even myself trip out about it because I've been talking about this for years, how everything in my film has come to fruition. And now everything in my book is going right along with this timeline. And even if, let's just say I wrote this crazy ass, let's say I was a crazy conspiracy theorist and I'm on tinfoil hat and I'm just going to write a book just to write it.
Yes.
Okay, let's say I'm just going to write a book to write it and embellish and make some shit up, right? And I made this whole fucking thing up, which is too complex that you couldn't even make up. But say I made it up, dude, I'm like nailing all this shit. Like I should be like, I need to play the lotto. You know what I'm saying? like, so it looks like it's happening. Is what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you, dude. It's really crazy, dude. I mean, I'm not saying because you came on here and said some major stuff. Okay, so you're talking about major disasters coming up. Like, what are you thinking? Severe weather events, volcanoes?
Well, in my film Shackled to Silence, I went around during COVID and I traveled around the whole United States and I interviewed Jordan Maxwell before he died. I interviewed like all these Planet X people. I went and I was in martial law in Louisville, Kentucky during the Breonna Taylor protests. And so I was investigating what is COVID. And I found out the lockdowns were what I told you guys, a cover for Planet X for what's coming. And then I knew in my film that there would be another, like we would have a couple years of nothing happening. And then I knew when we go into it next time, it would be real. It would be the real thing. And it could be a pandemic, but in this case, they're doing it with tariffs. Okay. In this case, they're doing it with tariffs. And that's how they kicked it off. What was your question? Because I started.
Well, like what?
Oh, disasters, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in there, Jordan Maxwell and I are talking in my film, and we're both, we were both talking about this personally too, but like basically he's like, yeah, with the fires in California and with the BLM riots on the whole West Coast, actually a lot, like in Oregon, Seattle, San Diego, LA, right? Okay. And then the fires and Jordan's like, it's almost like they're trying to push people out. And I go, I was thinking the same thing. And
Oh, they want people out of California.
but check this out. The Cascadia Subduction Zone's been ramping up.
What?
Yeah.
What
And if
is that?
dude, if that fucking thing goes, bro, it's gonna wipe out everything west of I-5. This is like a known fact.
West of I-5?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like a motherfucker. And it goes instantly when it goes. But here's
So
the
what up?
thing.
You're
What's
talking
weird
about
about all this? Well, what's weird about it is that I've been monitoring tremors in the subduction zone, and there's already been like over 11,000 just in the last like month or something, and it's all ramping up. But here's the crazy thing. Mainstream just came out and said there's this 1 mile wide across volcano off the Oregon coast called Axial Seamount that's going to imminently erupt in 2025. Like they think it could go anytime. That also seems kind of tied to Cascadia. If Cascadia goes, that's tied to the Cascade system, and they'll also erupt, which is like those mountains and stuff that we were talking about earlier too. And this will all start. But there's also all these volcanoes going off worldwide now.
Like,
And,
wouldn't that trigger the big earthquake that everyone talks about California that's gonna
not
split
only
it up?
not only that, it will drop a big portion of land, and a big tsunami will come in, and the land will literally drop up to 8 feet, and it will literally, it's going to cause such a disaster that when that happens, there's going to be an exodus. There's going to be no power supplies or gas or anything moving from Washington State all the way down into California. And this is all kicking off at a time. So I think that they know this, and they're driving people out of California even more with these LA riots, and they're going to be ramped up even more because they're trying to mitigate this. Like they obviously don't want people there, but they're all okay. So what they're doing with these paid protests now, only some of the couple of the protesters are paid to get other people riled up, because we're in a phase where we're in mitigation for this planet. So they can't have unruly people. You guys have always heard about the red and blue list.
Yeah.
They're rounding them up right now. And once they get habeas corpus, they'll do it even more. But these people that they're calling leftists are like they're literally standing up for our civil rights. They're the only people saying people are getting snatched and grabbed. This isn't right. And MAGA people are like laughing at them. And these leftists.
Hold on. Who's the only one fighting?
Okay, this is weird. These crazy leftists that fucking usually go apeshit and scream, and there's the Karens and all this bullshit, somehow turned into the frontline defense for our country.
It just happens. It just flips back and forth depending on who the government's going at.
Yeah. But they're also in the media playing the left-right psyop against everyone. But in purpose of this continuity thing, what I'm telling you guys is, like, we need to think of it as there is no left, right, and it's only continuity of government controlling the president and all these decisions that are being made, because what they're doing is they're getting the unruly people to come out right now so that they can just go snatch and grab them. And eventually you'll have less unruly people, but then they'll start to get hungry, and those people will get unruly, and they'll go out and they'll fucking snatch and grab them again. Apparently that's the plan.
Oh my God.
It's going down.
I think this is it. I think this is it. And like, so, in an Alex Jones world, this would be the Orwellian takeover, right? But it's not necessarily like that. It's a little different, but it's happening. But it is the Orwellian takeover, but it's they seized on the moment, and plus it's a byproduct.
Oh my God. Oh my
You
God.
can never let a good crisis go to waste.
It's not even that's a good crisis. It's just like, oh my God.
So, do you have an extra spot in Mexico for us? Is there an extra apartment
Yeah,
or
I'm in
something?
the best place, dude, that you can be, I promise. And there's a 3,000-foot mountain here within 15 minutes. There's a 400-foot hill right here.
How
And it's
long do you think this will go, dude? How
this
long
is
do you?
this is into 2036. Donald Trump will be president. Into through 2036, Donald Trump will be president. And by 2036, should it be back to normalcy, minus you won't have hardly any people left, and it'll look like China, and AI will basically be running everything.
So even if you wanted to fucking get enough food, you're just not gonna be able
What
to.
you really want to do is come to Mexico. And that's I tried this bugging out shit in the pandemic. They have cops rove everything. Remember they locked down the national parks and all the camping areas? They'll just go kick you out of there when you don't comply. Now guess what they're gonna do? They'll just snatch and grab your ass. And believe it. Believe it. And fucking there's nowhere you can fucking go in America. And guess what? If people wait too long, they're locking the border. They're going to lock Americans in.
Oh God. Oh
They
God.
just militarized the border. They made it a military base just for that reason.
How do you become a citizen of Mexico?
You don't. You just drive right across the border and they let you do it. And you don't even need a passport.
Do you speak Spanish?
No, everyone speaks English.
Actually, you'll be the only Mexican trying
It's
to get
not
back
what
in
they
Mexico.
told you. I do speak some. It's not what they told you. It's actually the coolest fucking dude. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived on almost all the Hawaiian Islands. I've lived in Key West, Florida on my yacht. I lived in the Pacific Northwest. I lived in Arizona, and I've traveled everywhere. And there's no better place than where I am.
Why is it most American citizens, or at least in Acapulco, a lot of those guys end up living out there. They go from Acapulco for a little bit, and then they're like, "I'm never going back." They'll take. There's a couple families out there. This guy took his family, ended up his whole family now speaks Spanish in Mexico. I don't know,
I'll
Sam.
tell
Give
you
me
How do they
that.
go to school? How do you take your kids to school?
You could just homeschool them yourself.
Johnny, would you go to Mexico?
No, I'm going back to the farm if shit hits the fan, if I can get there.
Dude, that would be cool. That would be cool. If you guys are serious about Mexico, I recommend it over everything, over and above fucking everything.
How's the
And,
education system there?
dude, it's good. Everything's way better than they tell you, bro. They drive around like $200,000 ambulances.
Why is everybody leaving?
They're not. They got
They're not
paid
leaving.
$10,000.
Are you okay? So you the incentives here. Like that,
And
that's
then
my libertarian belief.
send that back to Mexico, and it goes 20 times farther, and then they go back to Mexico.
It's like arbitrage almost, like currency arbitrage.
That is one fact I will say. Most Mexicans that come here only come here to work or send money back to Mexico.
Which is what I honestly, I mean, if that's
it's smart, right?
Yeah, it's smart, but they're not contributing to this society. It's kind of like why?
Well, they do
our
because
government had
they
interest.
do because they actually pay taxes and stuff on everything they buy, and then they pay gas tax and cigarette tax and excise tax and fucking whatever fucking tax there is and fucking tolls and you know what I mean. They even if they don't pay their payroll tax.
Yeah, there's more to it than that, though, right? Cultural.
Yeah, there is
contributing.
But here's the thing. Yeah, get the fuck out of America, dude. I mean, if you can go out on a farm, obviously that's better. But I mean, you know, in terms of getting out of a city and stuff like that. But ultimately, fuck yeah, get out of America.
Oh, you can feel it, dude. It's in the air here. Like
oh, dude,
it's just the temperature is just getting cranked up. The pressure. You can.
Well, this week is it. I'm assuming, I mean, here, I'll call it right here on the show. By Wednesday, they'll declare the Insurrection Act.
He said, I mean, he's already said that he was considering it. Donald Trump
Mhm.
has. Okay.
I think Sam was the one who posted those Craigslist posts looking for a strong, healthy man. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I don't
saw
know who's
that.
posting those.
Yeah, we talked about that on BS. It's crazy.
Mhm.
And it's a good amount of money. It's what I said, $6,000, 6 to 12,000.
Whether
Yeah,
whether you're activated or not, you're getting paid according to that.
Oh, oh my God. Okay, so let's get into this. You got these riots, this military parade, and you're telling me it's going to bring in a hot martial law and insurrection.
Yeah, so I did a video more than 3 weeks ago, and I think I even called this maybe even like a month and a half ago. I could be wrong. It was like right around the time they first announced the military parade, whenever that was. But I definitely did the video 3 weeks ago. And I sent you guys a link in that email chain if you have capability to get it. It said if we play the first 3 minutes of that video, it'll say it. But I said, hey, look, they're going to do this military parade. I know they got metal track tanks. They spent all this money. You don't just put metal track tanks on the street of DC. I said, it's what they're probably going to do.
Sorry, was that with Mark? Because I don't have access to that. I'm afraid.
Yeah, with Mark.
Yeah,
if you go on my live tab on my Shepard Ambellas YouTube channel,
okay,
and start looking through those videos, and it says something about the military parade is a cover for civil unrest or something
let's
like
see
that.
if we can find that briefly.
Probably 20 videos back or something. Military parade cover for civil unrest. And I said, look, there's going to be empty shelves coming up around this time, probably here in a couple of weeks. And I didn't know the exact time frame of that, but I said that'd be around the military parade too. And I said, there's going to be civil unrest coming because I'm a trends analyst. So like I'm clearly seeing this stuff about, anywhere from 12 weeks out, well, anywhere from years out, but like in these detailed things, like 12, I'm like basically 12 weeks out to like 3 weeks out. So I'm like 3 weeks at the closest.
Can you see here, Shepard? Is it?
Yeah, kind of. Go down a little more.
Okay.
Try to look. I can't really see that good.
It
says something like Trump's military parade is a cover for civil unrest.
Let me search for parade.
3 weeks back. It's 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Okay, parade. You think you used that word parade?
Yeah, go.
There it is, right there.
Yeah,
here it is. I found it.
Play the first 3 minutes.
What's up, guys? Shepard Ambellas here. I just want to go over some of the things I was thinking about regarding this upcoming military parade, or basically it's a U.S. Army planned parade in Washington, D.C., and it takes place on June the 14th of 2025. And it could serve as a cover for pre-positioning forces in the anticipation of civil unrest due to the looming food crisis, the empty shelves, and the tariffs, because a lot of this timeline is adding up, and it seems really fitting that they would bring in some type of contingency force to protect DC and the capital region in the event that this would happen. So this parade, it marks the Army's 250th anniversary, and it coincides with President Donald Trump's 79th birthday.
That's really all you got to play. I mean, we heard me say that. That just shows you how on to this shit I am. Now we're waiting, I guess, for the empty shelf crisis. Obviously, we're waiting for civil unrest in every city, and then I assume, like I said, by mid next week they'll go Insurrection Act. Once they go Insurrection Act, they're gonna really try to get habeas corpus suspended under the guise of an invasion or a rebellion. Once they do that, there is no more America. You guys might as well either grab your guns and fucking go, or hide out as far as you can, or stay as low profile as you can. But I'd get to Mexico.
What about our listeners in other countries? We have listeners in Canada and the UK.
It's going to be the same thing. They're going to play the tariff crisis. They're going to start saying like things aren't coming from China. The boats aren't coming. There's tariffs. The U.S. had tariffs on us, so this happened. I really think so. It should be, if it's the Planet X thing, it should be a worldwide thing. We're actually already seeing that. There's riots in Ireland. The UK is breaking down. They actually use the immigrant crisis there. It's the same plan. It looks like it's all following lockstep. There's also lots of flooding right now and stuff. So this flooding stuff, you would have to look at my Twitter feed and go back, for a year and all this stuff because they took down my most recent website. But basically, the world has been flooding, and I mean like bad. I mean like really fucking bad, like 10 feet deep and shit, 20 feet deep, entire cities, but you don't even know about it because they're separating news from country to country. And you really have to like go out and search this shit out. The best way to do that is type in flooding on Twitter and start clicking on videos and anything you can and pulling shit up and going back. And they probably scrubbed a lot of it. But dude, I was tracking in China, bro. They had like Beijing had like water like 20 feet deep coming up to, I mean, this was like worldwide. Now it's like Thailand. It's kind of switching around as the planet starts moving. If you're a globe person, there's what's called the equatorial band, and the water bulges out right there.
Yeah.
As this shit starts shifting a little bit, or maybe even as the magnetics start changing, that equatorial band starts moving. Actually, in the mainstream, they just now came out and said that equatorial band has moved 150 miles north. If that's true, all that water bulge is moving with it and will ultimately move up toward the California area and the United States area, and it will ultimately give us the U.S. Navy map that you've seen where they split the New Madrid and then all the coasts are flooded, and that's what we're going to be looking at.
Is that attributable to what's going on inside the planet or the gravity forces?
With Planet X. Also, a lot of people don't realize our plates and fault lines are electromagnetic. Yeah. And when you got this big planet coming in, this brown dwarf, that big perturber, and its planets that come with it, it's the sun.
It's only out. That though, just that the forces from that, the gravity from that planet.
Exactly. And magnetics maybe, but what happens is our plates start getting magnetic induction. So they start getting magnetic thermal induction. So they're saying global warming is happening, but all the volcanoes are going to start popping. But this heat's actually coming from below. And we're actually going to see like 130-degree summers, maybe even this summer, like in Phoenix or something.
So like an induction burner, like
that's already starting to happen. And it will get worse. And that's going to cause the plates to slip more freely. And that's going to when that biblical type event happens in the last 24 hours or some shit, right, it gets weird. So now one thing that can happen, Planet X can pass a little further away each time it passes, or a little closer. The orbit's not exactly the same to Earth every time. We could get lucky and it's not the worst biblical fucking passing, right?
Unbelievable, dude. Let me ask you, you said red and blue list dissidents. What are red and blue list dissidents?
Well, if you go back to like Jade Helm operation in 2015, which was actually an operation just for Planet X, believe it or not, and they started filming on Google Space, the Nemesis system, and then they blacked it out. I don't know if you guys remember that, and they saw that winged Nibiru planet, and then they blacked that out on Google Space, and they were doing Jade Helm, and they played different states of like Texas was dissidents, and and they played war games, and people were worried about it, and it was because of this planet. But they always knew about this, and this goes back to that Rex 84. And there's people like we're probably on like the red list. Journalists like us are definitely on the red list. We're the highest targeted because we get the information out.
So we're dead.
Obama actually put in an executive. This is going to sound crazy as fuck. It's real. It happened. First of all, Obama, before he got out of office, put an executive order that says they can drone strike American citizens, especially journalists, that are proven to have foreign ties. What do you call it? Like with Russia, what did they call that? Like coerce. You know what I'm talking
Russian
about?
collusion.
Yeah, right. Okay. So get this. After the Obama passed that, I shit you not, 2 weeks later, this organization, Prop or Not, came out and listed me, Alex Jones. It listed InfoWars, IntelliHub, which was my company, and then 40 other people, organizations on this list for Prop or Not, and it listed them as Russian collusion. Then Twitter sent me an email that said I was involved in Russian collusion. And then that just gave them authorization right there. I was thinking that shit, they're gonna drone strike me like right now.
Can we find that list? I want to see if Xavier.
This is the weirdest thing ever. I've been trying to find it and I can't, but this is what it's called. And this is, if you guys can find this, it'd be cool. I actually tried to look this up recently, like they scrubbed it, probably because a guy like me is gonna talk about it and tell you. But listen, it was called an organization called Prop or Not, and they put InfoWars and IntelliHub on it and 40 other things. And there were even some headlines about it. It said like 40. You could find this on the Internet Archives if you looked up IntelliHub.com around the time that Obama got out of office, and you started typing into that search box and it let you do it, Prop or Not, or like drone strike or something, but you would have to somehow get into the old Internet Archive or something. Because I wrote about it where it said something like IntelliHub journalists targeted for something or something. I can't even remember. But dude, it was a known thing, and like they talked about it, put it on mainstream articles and everything. But it's almost like they scrubbed it. Maybe you guys can find it.
Oh, dude, I just want to make sure Johnny's not on it.
If anyone's on the list, you're on that list, Sam.
Stop giving them ideas. Why? Oh,
but dude, I guarantee like you and me are on that list. But here,
but not Johnny and XG. That's some bullshit.
Oh yeah,
we're co-hosts and interns.
That's what
we're
I'm saying.
co-hosts and interns. They don't care about the co-hosts and the interns.
May
They just know we're here.
No.
May the drone strike be accurate.
They'll hit the whole office at once while you're doing a podcast.
Okay. I'm just let it be quick.
We do it through Zoom. Hopefully, it's one of the Zoom episodes.
Oh, really, dude? That's nice.
More Zoom episodes more often. Zoom episodes more often.
God, dude, what are we doing here? Everything is just layers of deceit, dude. So when is this military parade?
The 14th Saturday.
No kings.
So bang your chicks now. Have fun.
Oh yeah, because is what I was gonna say is
I cannot convince anybody to move to Mexico. I know what I'm doing. I pay for everything, and no one will listen to me.
Yeah. Well, maybe they will at a certain point.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Like you start
late.
seeing shit pop off. Dude, another good point is let's see if I can remember my train of thought. No, I forgot it.
Oh my God.
The no food, the parade.
March. There's a march happening.
The economy's all going to crash because of this. I mean, if they martial law out and block freeway entrances and all commerce is going to stop, and then they're talking about blaming protesters for the stop of commerce and prosecuting them under the Hobbs Act. Anyone out on the streets that violates curfew is going to get 20 years, basically. This is fucking crazy, bro. Like, and they're going to take you to secret camps. President Trump's already said they're going to give people 20 years for scratching a Tesla. But if you scratch a Ford or a Chevy, you don't get anything.
Well, work smart. That's what I say. Yeah.
He has been the president incredibly short-sighted. If you believe that his intentions are genuine, if he's not acting cynically, then yeah, he's been incredibly short-sighted.
So what I'm telling everyone right now is, to the listeners, drop all left and right shit and drop that Donald Trump even has a say-so in the matter. He doesn't. Like, a continuity of government board is in effect and they're calling the shots, and that's that.
Does he know that? Does he know that?
He knows that. They bring him in. They have continuity. Nancy Pelosi knows it because she was part of the continuity of government meetings. They stopped talking about it publicly because of me. Because when I came out with that asteroid thing and I said they went in continuity of government, that prompted Newsweek to do an article and it backed what I was saying. And then they stopped talking about it publicly. They were kind of saying every week they were going into continuity of government meetings during the COVID times. And Nancy Pelosi was like,
"Oh, you've seen them bring it up in meetings." Everyone's like, "Okay, we don't need to talk about that right now."
Yeah.
But just think about this. Think about who's getting the bunkers, and then think about them surviving and have kids.
What about Donald Trump's golden
card?
Dude,
Mark Zuckerberg kids running around?
What about the $5 million Donald Trump's golden card where they say it gives you citizenship? Could that be a ticket to an underground base for $5
million? Interesting.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's so funny. I put out something about staying home on Instagram and people are losing their fucking minds and they're like yelling at each other and they're just, this is it. We're in gridlock.
Yeah. Oh, guys, I want to give a shout out to one of my main guys that comes on my show, Kevin Mooring. He's a fan of your, y'all and watches y'all all the time.
Shout out, Kevin.
Yeah. And,
well, look at this. Look at this, guys. We got a curfew. It's going down from 8 p.m.
Holy shit, dude.
Okay, now guess what? They said
different curfew.
If you were caught in this, they said you are fucking arrested.
Tomorrow?
Is this the one from last night or is this a different one?
This was posted today.
But there was one yesterday too. Is it again today?
I think it's again today. It's again today.
Oh my God.
And we thought they would only do this during COVID. Remember?
Hold on, it's in certain places though.
Yeah, it's just downtown.
Hey, here's another thing. Check this
downtown.
out. You know what's crazy? During COVID, wear your mask. Now, Donald Trump says if you're caught wearing a mask, you're fucked. If you're seen wearing a mask, they're gonna fucking snatch and grab you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
In America, they're telling you what you can and can't wear now.
Yep. We're in dangerous times.
Sadly, no one even sees this coming. You know how many people don't even know there's protests going on or that are gonna happen or any of this shit?
Well, I know the curfew isn't real because if not, downtown would be clean because every homeless person is violating the curfew law.
Well, that's just setting precedents.
Have you guys
setting precedents, dude?
Well, and can you guys check in on shit like that now? Because that's always fascinated me. In COVID, they were busing homeless onto buses and giving them shit. And did they just take them to a base and fucking blend them up? Like, I mean, like, where are these fucking people? Like, but do you like that's something for you guys to keep an eye on? That's fascinating.
Whether they're blending people up, how would I find that out?
Well, no. I'm just saying whether they're kind of like snatching and grabbing homeless.
We had Johnny, and actually, didn't we talk about it? How like Dana and I were driving around, we're like, where are the homeless people?
See, it's like that in I noticed it was like that in Austin too. Like there was all these homeless, and then it was weird.
What if they come back as these no kings people? It's all the ex-homeless. They've cleaned them up, gotten them off fentanyl, and they're just stone cold killers now, getting ready to take the streets.
I mean, it is crazy what is happening, and nobody sees it.
Judgment night.
People, I am always anti-government. I mean, I think a small government is what we need. We need a government that protects us against corporations and against crime, and that's it. Anything beyond that is an abuse of power, But man, these people get mad at me because I'm telling them what's happening.
Yeah, I know. I got everyone,
and they think I'm anti-people.
No, I got the whole MAGA crowd because I'm talking about Trump, and so I have to really be careful. And then I have to go back and say, well, look, guys, it's the continuity of government. It's not. I don't think Trump's like out there trying to do this shit necessarily. So it's beyond. But right, and then I'm saying shit like the leftists are actually standing up for our civil rights right now. The guy's out riding right now, right? That's weird. And that of course, people are mad about that.
No, it's just crazy to me because those people were all convinced that the January 6th people were trying to overthrow the government. It's just
now they're involved in an insurrection. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, that's what they're going to term it, right? So also they got MAGA thinking they're going to show up. They got them all driving to the protest thinking they're going to kick Mexicans out of the country. And now they're basically showing up to another insurrection, being duped, being duped again.
Yep.
But it's not really an insurrection. In my opinion, this is all warranted. I think it's almost all warranted. I mean, aside from the paid protesters, like I think what's coming, it might be warranted. Whatever the fuck's coming, because how are you going to snatch and grab America? You start suspending habeas corpus and shit, dude, it's over. But they're actually pre-doing this. This is the plan. Fuck, we're in it. We're in it now. This is it. It's over. And then where's Alex Jones and all these people saying we're fucking in it now? There's not one guy like Tim Cass is like, oh, it's left, right, this, got people out there. But where are all
Tinfoil hat, dog, for the win. Tinfoil hat for the win. Yeah, this is nuts. Everybody is just uncomfortable at this point. Like, what are we gonna do? Everybody's quiet. Actually, he won't even look at the camera. He's got his new studio. He's like, fuck, I just built this studio. Now
I could have saved you all those emotions right now if you guys would have watched my film and read this book. You could have been prepared in your mind for this very moment.
Well, I bought your book, buddy, so at least you got a book buy out of it.
Dude, that's awesome. You'll love it. It's really good. It's really good.
It's going to go on this wall with all the books I've read. No, but I'll read yours before I read the other ones. I quit porn, dude. It's like I got a lot of time on my hands.
Hell yeah.
Literally on your hands.
Literally, dude. Literally. Is there anything else, Shepard?
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could go on forever, but, basically let's just watch this all go down here. I'm assuming what they'll do with the military parade is they'll do the parade and then they'll leave the tanks and the troops in DC, secretively house them.
Yeah.
And it's a Trojan horse for protection.
When they've already said they're establishing this precedent that the media is not going to cover this already. I saw a few stories today that the mainstream media is not expected to cover it as kind of like we're
fuck you, Trump, you fucking asshole.
That's more of the cover, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, now, but if they wanted to, if it was actually to sneak assets around, to borrow a phrase from Sam, then why would they cover it?
And pretty much what I'm seeing from the mainstream media is the scariest rhetoric I've ever seen in my life. Rachel Maddow, I watched her show the other day and I'm like, damn, she nailed it. She's saying she don't know the continuity of government part, so she's kind of hammering Trump. She's basically saying he's gonna suspend habeas corpus, and she's like the only one fucking getting it now. And it's like, wow. And then there's not one, it's wild, bro. So the shit is getting weird when Rachel Maddow is basically an Alex Jones.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. They don't want you. They don't want you knowing if you're coming or going.
Yep. Yeah, that's been going on big time lately. Have you noticed that in the media? Oh, they also got, when they start talking about the Insurrection Act, every single mainstream journalist is like walking them into it like, hey, I know you've been thinking about doing the Insurrection Act, but that could be a good thing for us, right? Like, we need safety. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just like walking them.
Yep. I'm with you, dude. It's really crazy. All right, Shepard, you came, you just kicked our dicks in. We appreciate it. I mean, sometimes we got to hear it, dude. Sometimes.
Veni, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered.
Yeah, you did, dude. One more time, tell them. Yep. Tell them where they can find you.
You can go to the Shepard Ambellas YouTube channel. You can just search that on Google. And when you go in the description of my videos, all the links are in there. And guys, I do need more support, even just more support to stay on the air. Obviously, we all do. But I think that I am a very valuable asset that calls this shit months and weeks and even years out. And I got books and films to prove it. So please support my work. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, buddy. That was a great episode. Let's cry while we break this down. All right, guys. Let's just try to turn our frowns upside down.
The first time I ever hear, go to Mexico.
We got a week. We got a week to live.
We don't even have a week, dude. We're recording this on the 11th. That means the 14th is when everything hits. So,
king.
Johnny, we got to put out this episode first.
Yeah, just to save some lives.
Try to save a couple hot chicks.
So are we with Alex Stein? No deporting big booty Latinas?
Yeah, that was always my rule. I was saying that way before anybody else. Hot chicks. That's the only ones who get to stay. Everybody else, you got to go. I saw the funniest meme. Had all these MS-13 guys go, and it was like 9 pictures. It was 3, 3, and 3, and the middle one was that hot chick, and it was like, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. You can stay. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. I put it out, but people are fucking crazy, dude.
So I mean, I didn't want to ask, but I've heard. So the No King thing is January 14th, and it's just what? What's No Kings?
Some group. Isn't it crazy how it came out of nowhere? It's kind of like a left-wing Proud Boys. It sounds like what they're trying
Yes, it's the theory, because what they do is they've co-opted these people who are communists.
It's Antifa retards.
Yeah, well, it's the Latino version.
Yeah.
And they're trying to convince
Latinx. Sorry, it's going to be
Latinx people. But they're trying to convince them that if we got rid of the ruling class, everything will go back to better. And I mean, that isn't necessarily wrong.
Yeah, let's kill the royal family and everything. Just
but
like
it's you don't understand what you're doing. What you're doing is helping them, actually, by creating so much chaos. They're gonna basically do what Shepard said. They're gonna install these draconian fucking 1984 Chinese surveillance cameras. I mean, systems, and you're gonna see your privacy go away more and more and more. And it is crazy. It is crazy. And he brought up the Deagle report, which said like America's population was going to get down to 50 million. And then you hear what happened in China, and like, it's crazy, dude. I mean, genocidal, crazy.
On a not a side note, but do you think the New Jersey drones have anything to do with what might be going on with these ICE protests?
I think it's all part of it, dude. It's all. The only thing keeps me happy is this video I sent Johnny about this. That's the only thing that can put a smile on my face right now, right, Johnny?
Did it put a smile on your face, Johnny?
Instagram thing? Yeah, it's more of his not pornography that he.
Yes, there's loopholes.
So let me see. Can you put it? Can you show us, Johnny?
No, we can't show it. No,
We can't show it.
no. It's some chick with almost her coos out, doing yoga, or not even yoga. She's just spreading her legs.
No, she's just telling you what is acceptable.
Yeah.
I just sent to you, XG. See if you get it. I just sent to you.
Enjoy that.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I wish I could show you guys.
No, you can't show them. This is proper.
No,
but just
serious podcast.
just makes you happy, doesn't it?
Oh, dude, that is so close. What the fuck?
I'm telling you, dude, those people who engineer those bikinis do not waste a stitch, not one thread.
Yeah,
They're
it's
perfectly
just
engineered.
So, guys, what is the answer? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, by his suggestion, there is no. I mean, if these are natural forces that we can't do anything about, we're screwed. It's over. This is hopeless. This is the ultimate black pill. It's like,
yeah, he was very black pilled. You're black pilled when you go to Mexico.
Yeah.
you
It's
gotta hope
crazy.
you're in a place that's not really, really affected by these natural disasters.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts. Guys, why don't you, while you can, go to samtriple8.com, check out my dates. This weekend, I'm going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. Then I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, PA. Then I'm going to be in Bohemian Grove. If that's happening, I don't know what's going on with that show.
Yeah, well, they're having some kind of falling out, huh?
It's so sad to see my children fighting.
So if I saw you, I was like, well, that's a little condescending. Calling them your kids like that.
My kid, they are my children.
Yeah. Would you put in your chat? Don't make me pull out the belt.
Yeah, my grandpa used to say that all the time.
Yeah,
don't
mine
make me
too.
pull out the belt.
Yeah, go pick a switch, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Then I'm going to be in San Diego, and then we got more dates are coming. just go to samtripoli.com, grab the dates if you want. So right now, whoever runs my website has put up the wrong episode for the Eddie Bravo, which really sucks because they put up Richard Groove's episode. So the Eddie Bravo episode will be going up. But you can get all my episodes there. Go down. My premium content, I haven't put out one in a couple days. I'm sorry, guys. Just I'm getting sick, and then I got these taxes. I mean, dude, the whole time I'm going through this episode, I'm like, should I even pay taxes at this point? I mean,
I would wait a week.
But I can't. I have to get done by today, or else Daddy's in trouble.
What, you didn't do an extension?
Well, I've used my extension. Go down.
Right, but that extension goes until October, right?
No, I mean, we didn't do. Not to get personal, but we haven't done taxes in 2 years because just chaos. But go down, go Sam, then go Cash Daddies. Talk to me, Johnny.
Cash Daddies, yeah.
Dude, we went up 6 more. Damn,
they're killing it.
He's back on track this month for sure. And he has some good suggestions about how you can survive the turbulence in the markets right now. I'll just say that. I don't want to spoil everything, but yeah, go check it out. He's got some ideas right now about how to what you should be doing with your money to make it through this bizarre time. Now, I'm not talking about the end of the world, obviously, but
and I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm up on a lot of things that Howie's told me to do. Up.
Why would you lie to me, Sam? Why would you lie?
Why would I lie?
Exactly.
Go back, samtripoli.com. Why don't you close some of these open things? Go back. There we go. Chaos Twins moving forward. Very excited. Episode 2 is now being drawn. Almost done. We're very excited. Very excited. What else do we got? T-shirts. Go to T-shirts, guys. Great way to support the show. We got new T-shirts coming out all the time. We got the Global Controls, the Global Domination T-shirt. Go back.
Only 100 made of those people. Only 100
shit.
made.
I didn't know that. Okay, nobody told me that. Dare. Go back down. I mean, look at it. It's a great way to support the show. Get up on your merch.
$15. Where do you find a $15 T-shirt?
Where do you find a $15 T-shirt?
Boon Shakalaka is the only place to get that kind of value.
Oh, rest in peace, Boon Shakalaka.
Miss him. I got some cool shirts from that dude. Legit cool, like vintage Floyd Mayweather, Canelo.
One time I said he had AIDS, and he just wanted to kill me.
How was he going to kill you? Just bleed on you? Is that
yes.
the plan?
So Rife Technology, everybody. Rife Technology. Someone just bought it. They're super happy with it. Someone had Lyme disease and helped cure them of that. This is what Matt Rife told me.
Wow.
AquaCure Hydrogen Brown Gas. We love you. You love me. We're all a family here, okay? So check out AquaCure. You need hydrogen. It's why you're aging so quickly. Harley Ray. We had some sales on there. We love them. They might be coming on as a bigger sponsor. So we're very excited about them. Can't guarantee anything, but we're very excited about them. Of course, right after this, I'm going to be taking my chemical-free body supplements. I fucking love it. Tim James came on, crushed it last time. It's a crazy time to be alive. Get in shape with our good friend Joel Staley, dude. All right. And then EMF Rocks. Great way to, I got to get some of those. I got 3 phones now. I need some of these bags, dude. I got to call them. Prometheus. I know Leonore and Joni got their website. And then finally, Brain Supreme. If you love all the questions that Xavier has asked this episode and the last episode, and the episode's about to drop, you're going to love Brain Supreme. So go down all the telegrams, all my shows there. I got to add Doom Scrolling. We took 2 weeks off because of birthday and then taxes. We're back next week, and I got so many videos. I'm gonna have to sit. I'm gonna only have to do bangers, nothing but bangers. It will be the best Doom Scrolling ever. Radio, 24-hour radio. If you want to hear Sam Tripoli 24/7, bang, you're living your best life. And all my specials, Potty Mouth, Black Crack Robots, they're up. I love it. I love it when there's so many positive and then there's just that negative comment out of nowhere. And you're just like, okay, dude, well, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you don't like the show. I don't care. Move on.
What are you hoping to accomplish by saying,
hey, dude, this is low hanging fruit comedy. Yeah, nobody cares. It's called Potty Mouth. You were warned.
Like, what are they hoping for, though? Like, you read that and you're like, Damn, man, you're right. I'm gonna try to get my.
I'm gonna be a young Christian warrior. We come to fight. We fight for love. All right, guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy these highlights. No, real quick. Xavier, what do you want, Push?
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and then go to Extreme Marks the Spot on my new podcast. Go hit the like button, subscribe, please.
I'm back on Twitter at Johnny Woodard. They took away. I lost like 4,000 followers, so come find me, please. At Johnny Woodard on Twitter. Thanks.
All right. Finally, the new YouTube is up. YouTube.com/tinfoil hat YouTube. Tinfoil hat YouTube. Totally toxic. There we go. First one's up. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. And we're going to start uploading them as we go, building it up piece by piece. All right, guys. Enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
It's almost like Rogan kind of heard the comments about him not having enough lefties on, and
Yeah, but he has everybody on.
But then
dude.
he has this idiot on, and
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, dude. That's a big get.
no, it is. But the guy's an idiot.
I mean, this is a show that had a guy from 98 Fiance on.
Yeah, that's
So,
true, yeah.
I mean, who are we to judge?
Truly.
Talking about making wells for people in the Congo to get fresh water, when you're talking about food and medicine to places that don't have access, like, no way that should have been cut out. And that should have been clear before they make these radical cuts. Like, there's got to be a way to keep aid and not have fraud. And you can't say we're going to kill everything so that there's no fraud. But then you're killing all the good, and you're doing it without letting anybody know it's going to happen. So it's not like they had 3 years to prepare. Let's build a new infrastructure. Let's make sure that everything's set up.
What I find very interesting is, like, how many people talk to Bono on, like, I'm on your level, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody. Yeah.
And that's got to be the weirdest thing to him, because everybody sucks his dick constantly.
Completely. Yeah. And this is it right here.
It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this
ridiculous
cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. This will not. You will not be happy.
Are you ready? Are you ready to fuck off?
There is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa,
Man,
Dubai,
I hate it when they store stuff in Djibouti.
Houston, Texas, and that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone. And
well, that was kind of stupid. Not to tell anybody the codes.
What do you think? What is that? That's
this guy has weird butt stuff energy, doesn't he?
Right, this is the problem. The problem is, for sure.
Can you stop it for a second? Yeah. Just look at their skin tones. Like, Rogan looks like he's in, and I know people are gonna be like, Tripoli, fucking kissing Rogan's ass, but there's a different light, and then you go and you look like, go back to Bono, he looks like Bram Stoker or whatever that fucking vampire.
Dracula,
yeah. Like, look at the skin, it's pasty. He's got to dye his hair. It's just two guys have different footing in the world. One guy's insulated from everything. And the other guy seems to be in the mix. And, like, no matter what Rogan does, the internet explodes.
And this guy hasn't made a good song in 40 years, bro. They were good for like 5 years in the 80s, the late 80s. And that's
what do you think of this? Like that?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't get the response. Like, usually I'm in an arena and everyone cheers.
Yeah.
And I got nothing.
That's totally it.
For sure, there have been
two different lights.
A lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various... They don't even know where, because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described that, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places.
Right.
And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing is, there's a lot of fraud.
Nobody's told me
a lot
that.
of money laundering.
Dude, why are you talking to me like you know me?
You know he didn't like that either.
He did
His
not.
little butt was
You know
boiling.
why? Because he's getting that money. That's why.
Yeah. Well, dude, he's probably never heard that, honestly. Because think about it, he watches MSNBC all day.
That's what I'm saying.
Never heard that.
Nobody's telling me this.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the key to it's like
Crazy.
Again, everyone's but it's like you could tell people that are like grounded based on the people they hang out with, who they've been friends with forever. Right? You see this happening in Hollywood all the time.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.